dear students, myself Gangadhar Solanke, and I welcome you all to the MCGM's virtual classroom. My dear students, today in Standard 9's History, we'll be learning the topic Education, and in this chapter, we shall review the main stages and schemes in the development of the educational system in India. So, what we are going to focusing in this topic is stages and schemes in the development of the educational system of our country, and for this we shall take into consideration primary, secondary as well as higher education, and besides research institutes in some representative areas. So, this will give us an idea of the educational system throughout the country, and it will not only give us an idea about the educational system, but after studying this topic one can understand the stages and the schemes which developed our education system. So, here the chart which is given in our textbook, the first census of independent India in 1951 revealed the extreme complexity and intractability of the educational issues in the country. So, in the first census, the literacy level was only 17%. It rose as shown below then, which is shown in this chart. In 1971, it was 34%. After 10 years, that is in 1981, it's 43%. Then in 1991, 52%, and in 2001 it is 64%. So, here in this chart we can see that the level of literacy or the literacy level is continuously growing or increasing. The percentage of literate people in our country increasing continuously, and this is because of all the schemes and because of the stages. Improving this percentage was a serious challenge. It was not easy task for the government of India, but several remedial schemes were put in place to deal with it, and because of these several remedial schemes, this was possible that today we are literate on large number. So, these several remedial schemes we are going to study in this topic, and we'll start it with the primary education, then secondary education, and then we'll talk about the higher education. So, the primary education refers to the schooling given to children in the 6 to 14 year age group. 6 से 14 साल के बच्चों को जो एजुकेशन दिया जाता है, that is called primary education. And in 1988, the central government started a scheme. Which scheme? And for what? For the spread of primary education and to improve educational standards. Actually, the primary education is very basic and very important when we talk about the literacy level or the percentage of literacy. And this scheme is known as Operation Blackboard. So, by the name हम ये समझ सकते हैं कि गवर्नमेंट ने लिटरेसी बढ़ाने का परसेंटेज जो है इस काम को एज अ ऑपरेशन लिया कि ये करना ही है ऑन एनी case. The government made funds available to help improve the standard of the schools and to fulfill minimum educational needs such as at least 2 proper classrooms. 2 classroom तो होने ही चाहिए. Toilets, one of the 2 teachers to be female, so that जो छोटे बच्चे होते हैं उन्हें स्कूल में ऐसा लगे कि हम घर से कहीं दूर नहीं आए हैं, मम्मी पापा को छोड़ के, वहाँ पर भी कोई फीमेल टीचर उनको मिल जाएगी. A blackboard, maps, laboratory apparatus, a small library, a playground, sports equipment, etc. It means that ये सब अभी जो हमें मिल रहा है, it was started there in the Operation Blackboard. And this scheme helped the primary education system to gain some momentum. So this Operation Blackboard was started in 1987-88. The aim of this program is to improve human and physical resources. सिर्फ पढ़ाने के लिए टीचर होने से फ़ायदा नहीं है या फिर सिर्फ फिजिकल रिसोर्स होने से फ़ायदा नहीं है, ये दोनों चीज़ें होनी चाहिए. And that is why the aim of this program is to improve human and physical resource availability in primary schools of India. According to this program, every primary school should have at least 2 rooms, 2 teachers and essential teaching aids like blackboard, chalk, duster, etc. In 1994, this scheme was expanded. इसको बढ़ाया गया. Expanded and provision was made for 1 additional classroom, 2 से 3, and for appointing 1 more teacher in schools with an enrollment of more than 100 students. If students are more than 100, then 3 teachers. Or to add teacher, 1 additional classroom, and for appointing 1 more teacher. With priority given to girls schools, schools with a majority of scheduled caste and tribe students, and schools in rural areas. This one is in school rural areas. Then it was also made binding upon the state government to appoint female teachers to 50%. Female teachers to 50% of the posts in the schools. And then next to this, again in 1994, the District Primary Education Program, that is DPEP, District Primary Education Program was started with the objective of universalization of primary education. So first, Mission Blackboard or the Blackboard scheme, Operation Blackboard, then it was expanded, and then District Primary Education Program. It was implemented in 7 states including Maharashtra, and enrollment of all the school age children in the age group 6 to, here you can see aims and objectives of DPEP. Then the retention of all the enrolled children in schools without any dropout. एक बार स्कूल में आए तो प्राइमरी एजुकेशन कंप्लीट करने से पहले उन्होंने वो छोड़ना नहीं चाहिए. कंप्लीटिंग 5-year प्राइमरी एजुकेशन विथ क्वालिटी. प्रमोटिंग ऑफ गर्ल्स एजुकेशन. प्रोविजन ऑफ इंटीग्रेटेड एजुकेशन फॉर द डिसेबल्ड चिल्ड्रन. बाय दिस वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड दैट ये सब ऑपरेशन इस तरह से चलाए जा रहे थे कि कोई भी एजुकेशन से दूर ना रहे. इन्वॉल्विंग द कमिटी फॉर द बेटर फंक्शनिंग ऑफ स्कूल्स, and 69 schools were benefited through this scheme. And then next to this, the midday meal scheme was started in 1995. Today which we are getting, or we are getting benefit of this scheme also. जो खाना हमें स्कूल में मिलता है, that is midday meal scheme was started in 1995 to provide proper nourishment for students. It means that सिर्फ एजुकेशन ही नहीं दिया जा रहा था बल्कि बच्चों की सेहत की तरफ भी ध्यान दिया जा रहा था through all these schemes. And today 120 million children across India are a part of the midday meal scheme. Now the next, primary education, and next to this, secondary education. After independence, Education Minister Maulana Abul Kalam Azad decided to bring fundamental changes. Such type of changes are very important because जब भी किसी particular field में या area में fundamental changes होते हैं तो पूरी तरह से उस particular field का चेहरा बदल जाता है, उसमें बहुत सारे changes होते हैं. So the Education Minister Maulana Abul Kalam Azad decided to bring about fundamental changes in the field of education, and for that the University Commission was set up. This commission, University Education Commission, recommended the appointment of a separate commission for secondary education, and accordingly in 1952-53 the Mudliar Commission was appointed. At that time the pattern of education consisted of 11 plus 4 years for the first degree, मतलब आपको पहले 11 साल स्कूलिंग करना है और फिर 4 साल आपको डिग्री के लिए लेने हैं, और ऑफ 11 plus 1 plus 3 years. Then the work of the commission, मुदलियार कमीशन ने क्या काम किया? The commission studied secondary education thoroughly. The nature of the curriculum, what they studied? The nature of the curriculum, medium of instruction, teaching methodology, and made certain recommendations on the basis of all these things. Medium of instruction कौन सा होना चाहिए, टीचिंग मेथोडोलॉजी कौन सी होनी चाहिए, और करिकुलम कौन सा होना चाहिए, ये सारी चीज़ें उन्होंने पढ़ी और अपने रिकमेंडेशंस गवर्नमेंट को दे दिए. देन दिस कमीशन प्रपोज द कॉन्सेप्ट ऑफ हायर सेकेंडरी एजुकेशन. हाउएवर इट was found difficult to implement it all over the country. The Kothari Commission, next to the Mudliar Commission, in 1964 a commission was appointed. A commission was appointed under the chairmanship of Dr. D.S. Kothari. Dr. J.P. Naik made valuable contributions to the work of this commission, who was the part of this commission. The commission also recommended the 10 plus 2 plus 3, which is today we are having: primary, secondary, higher secondary and university education. This system was implemented from 1972, and the commission also suggested a uniform national system of education, the inclusion of the mother tongue, Hindi and English in education, 3 languages which we are studying today, as well as continuing education, adult education, education by correspondence and open universities to make education trickle down to the lowest rungs of society. Here you can see the main recommendation of the commission: education and national objectives, vocationalization, stress on science education, work experience, common school system, social and national service, medium of instruction, improvement in curriculum, improvement in curriculum, methods of teaching. So in this, the commission also suggested a uniform national system. पूरे देश में एक ही एजुकेशन सिस्टम होनी चाहिए. द इंक्लूजन ऑफ द मदर टंग, हिंदी एंड इंग्लिश, एज वेल एज कंटिन्यूइंग एजुकेशन, अडल्ट एजुकेशन, एजुकेशन बाय करस्पॉन्डेंस. अगर किसी कारण आपकी स्कूल छूट गई तो बाद में भी आपको उसे कंप्लीट करना आना चाहिए. इसके लिए ओपन यूनिवर्सिटीज टू मेक एजुकेशन trickle down to the lowest rungs of the society, and it also recommended increased provision in the government's budget for expenditure on education of neglected sections like the scheduled castes and tribes. Then Maharashtra government adopted the 10+2+3 pattern in 1972 and conducted the first standard 10th board exam in 1975. मतलब जो 10th का बोर्ड एग्जाम हम अभी देते हैं वो पहली बार 1975 में महाराष्ट्र में हुआ. Here the objectives of education according to the कोठारी कमीशन. हम क्यों पढ़ते हैं, ऑब्जेक्टिव्स क्या है हमारे एजुकेशन के? मॉडर्नाइजेशन ऑफ एजुकेशन, सोशल एंड नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन, यूनिटी, nature of social, moral and spiritual values, education and productivity, securing and strengthening democracy. All these are the objectives of education according to the Kothari Commission. And once objectives are decided, then the curriculum on the basis of objectives is maintained, developed or prepared. Now the next, higher education. Primary education, secondary education, and now we are talking about higher education. Education in the post-independence era. After independence in 1948, the central government appointed the University Education Commission, whose chairman was Dr. Sarvapalli Radhakrishnan. Its functions included financial grants, the standard of the universities and their coordination. And in this then, University Education Commission of 1948. Method of functioning. The commission accepted the 5-year plans method. It began to sanction and disburse grants, यूनिवर्सिटीज़ को ग्रांट देने का काम. The commission undertakes planning of university education, coordination of syllabus, giving primary to national needs through education. The planning and implementation of various schemes of higher education, establishing university development councils, centers for advanced studies for postgraduate education, establishing new universities. And after the advent of television in India, it initiated the countrywide classroom program, which is telecast by Doordarshan on behalf of the commission. So you can say that after this commission, there was change in the education. Now the next thing, National Council of Educational Research and Training, that is NCERT. Now number of points are there in this topic which you can study or keep in mind with the help of keywords. इनके keywords याद रखेंगे तो कौन सी स्कीम में क्या exactly हुआ वो याद रखना easy जाएगा. NCERT, this body was established in Delhi on the 1st of September 1961, and its main objective is to help central government. In what? In matters of school education in the context of a comprehensive policy and in implementing educational schemes. Now here one more thing which is very important to understand. Not only planning, government was not only focusing on the planning, but एट द सेम टाइम ऑन द इम्प्लीमेंटिंग ऑल्सो। नहीं तो बहुत बार क्या होता है कि हम प्लानिंग अच्छी कर लेते हैं लेकिन उसका इम्प्लीमेंटेशन नहीं होता है। सो नॉट ओनली द प्लानिंग बट ऑल्सो इम्प्लीमेंटिंग वॉज इम्पॉर्टेंट। द NCERT was given the responsibility of educational research and development, training, extension, educational programs, restructuring of school curriculum and textbooks। ये सब काम NCERT को दिया गया। It has played a central role in designing school curriculum and textbooks with the cooperation of the Central Board of Secondary Education, that is CBSE. It provides guidance and cooperation in the area of primary and secondary education to the state governments. तो ये एक नेशनल लेवल पे एक ऐसी संस्था बन गई कि सारे स्टेट उसकी हेल्प ले सकते थे और पूरे देश में एक यूनिवर्सल एजुकेशन सिस्टम बिल्ड होने में, डेवलप होने में इसका बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट रोल है। इट हैज़ बीन इन्वॉल्व इन डिज़ाइनिंग वर्क बुक्स एंड हैंड बुक्स फॉर टीचर्स इन टीचर ट्रेनिंग एंड डेवलपिंग टीचिंग लर्निंग टेक्निक्स एंड conducting talent search examinations at national level. Next one is SCERT on the basis of NCERT. SCERTs were established in all states on the lines of the NCERT. NCERT, that is National Council of Educational Research and Training on national level, and in the states on state level SCERT, that is State Council of Educational Research and Training. The Maharashtra State Council of Educational Research and Training was established in Pune. This institute performs various functions such as improving the standard of primary education, and for that number of schemes and the plans in service training of teachers, training in the areas of syllabi and evaluation, occasional guidance for students of standard 10th and standard 12th exams and other educational functions. This institute is known as the academic authority. It brings out a periodical called Jeevan Shikshan, and through which number of things and number of schemes are put forward towards the people or towards the teacher. Then in this, the next thing, SCERT publication department and its logo महाराष्ट्र राज्य शैक्षणिक संशोधन व प्रशिक्षण परिषद पुणे. Next one now. After the formation of Maharashtra state in 1960, the government took the decision to implement a common statewide curriculum for standard 1st to 7th, and in this Principal Sayyid Rauf of ST College, Mumbai was assigned the task of preparing the draft of this curriculum, and this one is given in our textbook. Can we achieve this? In 1991, Kerala became a fully literate state, 100%. So here you can discuss it with your friends on phone call, because nowadays we are facing the corona pandemic. What steps must be taken to achieve 100% literacy in Maharashtra as well? You can write your essay on this, you can debate, you can also discuss it with the friends. Then the Tarabai Modak, who began work in the field of education in Bodi and Kosbad. She started Anganwadis for Adivasi children. She worked hard to bring in the learning by doing method to start Kurna Shalas, that is middle schools, to spread vocational technical education. Tarabai Modak is a great pioneer in preschool education and child welfare program in India. She evolved a simple Anganwadi on a rural pattern for preschool care. In this, one more name which is important, Anutai Wag established an institution at Kosbad for the progress of Adivasis in Thane district. It is known as the Kosbad project. she started their different types of schools and classes for the people. The books by अनुताई वाघ, कोसबारच्या टेकडीवरून, दाभोळच्या जंगलातून. Then the National Policy on Education 1986. According to this policy, certain changes of a fundamental nature were brought about in primary, secondary and higher secondary education in keeping with the changing needs of society. Under this policy, a common core curriculum was framed for all states. So here one thing which we have to keep in mind, that according to the National Policy on Education 1986, fundamental nature were brought about in primary, secondary and also in higher secondary education. Under this policy, a common core curriculum was framed for all states. एक same syllabus होगा. There is scope in the national curriculum for individual states to bring in flexibility in accordance with their cultural, geographical and historical needs. जैसे गांव के बच्चे अगर पढ़ रहे तो उनको उनकी लैंग्वेज होनी चाहिए, उनके आसपास की चीज़ें उनके सिलेबस में दिखनी चाहिए. शहर के बच्चे पढ़ रहे तो उनको भी पूरा सिलेबस गांव का नहीं होना चाहिए, तो उनको भी अपने आजू बाजू की चीज़ें उसमें दिखनी चाहिए. हिस्टोरिकल बैकग्राउंड होना चाहिए, हिस्टोरिकल नीड्स होनी चाहिए. इन सब चीज़ों को देखकर एक कॉमन कोर करिकुलम तैयार किया गया. The primary education curriculum 1988 was prepared on the basis of the plan of action designed at the national level for the effective implementation of the National Policy on Education 1986. Now the next thing, the competency based primary education curriculum, that is 1995. Even as the primary education curriculum 1988 was being implemented, a committee was formed at the national level, Dr. R.H. Dave as its chairman, to determine minimum levels of learning, and the Dave committee developed charts of minimum levels of learning in language, mathematics and environmental studies up to standard 5th. The chart showed the sequence of learning of the competencies meant for each class. मतलब कौन से क्लास में बच्चों को कहाँ तक आना चाहिए कॉम्पिटेंसीज. जैसे फर्स्ट स्टैंडर्ड के बच्चे हैं तो उन्हें एडिशन आना चाहिए कि नहीं आना चाहिए, टेबल्स आने चाहिए तो कहाँ तक आने चाहिए, या फिर नंबर्स जो है वो कहाँ तक आने चाहिए, रीडिंग आनी है तो कहाँ तक आनी चाहिए. ऑल दिस थिंग्स आर कॉल्ड लर्निंग कॉम्पिटेंसीज. Use of a satellite, and here the education changed towards the use of technology. In 1975, India met with success in its attempt to use a satellite for the purpose of education, and you people are also well known about this or familiar with this, because we people here in BMC studying with the help of use of satellite in virtual classroom. Eknath Chitnis, a scientist with ISRO, played an important role in it. America had helped India in this program, and the program helped to make provisions for a good standard of education in rural areas. Use of satellite in this satellite instructional television experiment was undertaken for educational purpose under the leadership of the Space Applications Center at Ahmedabad. Now one more thing, again I am repeating here, ये सारा जो है स्कीम्स जिनके बारे में हम पढ़ रहे हैं इस टॉपिक में, ये थेरोटिकली हम जा रहे हैं, और इसमें कीवर्ड्स जितने आप याद रखेंगे उतना ये लेसन आपको ईजीली फिर से रिवाइज करने के लिए, पढ़ाई करने के लिए आसान जाएगा. Then the Indira Gandhi National Open University. This Open University was established with the objective that the stream of education should make its way into every average household of the country. And the United Nations had declared 1970 as the International Education Year. And in the same year, a seminar was organized in Delhi. And there, on the subject of Open University by the Government of India, Departments of Education and Social Welfare, Information and Broadcasting University, Grants Commission along with UNESCO. So the idea of establishing Open University evolved in this seminar. Now what is Open University? किसी चीज़ की वजह से अगर आपका एजुकेशन छूट गया है या फिर आप आगे एजुकेशन कर नहीं पा रहे because of any reason, then you can go to the Open University. So in 1974, the government appointed a committee under the chairmanship of P. Parthasarathy, and the Open University took shape on 20th September 1985 in accordance with its recommendations and suggestions. So why Open University? Those who are unable to get a college education in the formal way are given concessions in eligibility criteria, age and other conditions for admission to this university. So in 1990, the IGNOU, Indira Gandhi National Open University, started an audio-visual distance education program through Akashvani and Doordarshan. It conducted more than 1000 curricula of various branches. It provides facilities for education through 58 training centers in the country and 41 centers in foreign countries. By this we can understand कितनी स्पीड से एजुकेशन स्प्रेड हो रहा था और इसी की वजह से लिटरेसी लेवल जो है हमारा, लिटरेसी परसेंटेज जो है हमारा, वो बढ़ गया. YCMOU, that is Yeshwantrao Chavan Maharashtra Mukt Vidyapit, was established in Nashik in 1989. And now the next point in this topic is research institutes, but about which we'll study in the second part of this topic. So today we discussed about the primary education, secondary education and higher education.
Please subscribe the channel and press bell icon to get notifications.
So my dear students, this is all for today. Thank you very much. Stay home, stay safe, take care.